This is going to be my last cup of coffee for a while because my Bodum grinder just like fell apart. That's the inside of it. I went to take it off. Okay, so it goes on like this. And it's unplugged now, of course. But I used it just like I always do. You know, and then I pulled it up. I pulled this up, but the whole thing came off. And so inside you can see how they made it. And the two pieces that fell off are the spring and the sticky thingy that goes into that little place that makes it go. But I am not mechanically inclined to figure it out. So I'm gonna have to ask one of my smart friends. And yes, one of my guy friends is an engineer. So in the meantime, I've got my last cup of coffee right here for now until I get a grinder. And since it's Black Friday, it's Black Friday, everybody. That's not racist. It means that nobody in retail is allowed a holiday. So the calendar schedule is filled with black ink, which means all hands on deck. So I've been drinking tea, and now I'm having a cup of coffee and talking to you because I wanted to talk to you about time and age. Because yes, I'm getting older. I'll have to admit it to myself. I started making videos on my YouTube channel in 2013 or 14, and it was when I had a shop, and it wasn't that busy where I had my shop. It wasn't a very smart business move for me to have the shop where I had my shop, but I did it because I was in love. And I didn't know my ex was going to turn out to be a narcissist. And I don't want to talk about narcissism anymore. I did so many videos on it, and it's not my shtick. My shtick is getting past that bullcrap and learning how to live again and love again and be the fullness of yourself. But first, you know, in my therapy, I had to... And my therapy is YouTube videos, you know, listening to them, and then making them, being honest, and then visiting my parents and discovering where the pattern was set. And yes, it was set with my mother and my father because he did not stop her. And for his own laziness or his own inability to be present as a father, his weakness, I had essentially a 100% non-emotionally supportive household. And we're treated as things and objects. We're not actually people. And they're still alive, but my mom's losing her marbles. And in a way, I have a disaster of a life. And in another way, I have a beautiful, rich life. But one thing I know for sure is I have a broken Bodum that just fell apart on me this very day. So what I'm going to tell anybody who has a Bodum is I used to whack it, you know, to get the coffee grounds to settle in the bottom of this so that I could pour it out. And do not whack your coffee grinder. I've been abusing my coffee grinder all these years, and it fell apart. So that's what happens with humans, is if they've been abused for their entire life, they fall apart. So I'm putting myself back together again. And I will probably get a different coffee grinder because I just don't know how to put this one back together again. I'd have to go to the manufacturer and say, hey, How do you put this thing back together again? How? It's just two pieces that fell apart. I guess, okay, it's made in China. And it says, do not immerse in liquid. Well, that's a no-brainer. So happy Black Friday, everybody. I'm having black coffee. I thought I would talk to you about life. I haven't combed my hair. This is first thing in the morning. You know, I'm bitchy over there. The name says it all. Bitch oot-y. Bitch oot-y. I got criticized badly for not combing my hair. Well, I'm not an influencer. I have hardly anybody that follows me. And I'm making these videos for my own purposes. So take that, motherfuckers! In her case, she was probably a fatherfucker. I don't recognize anything but a plus and a minus on a battery, man, and I only recognize two sexes. And that's not hate speech. It's just what I recognize with my real eyes. I realize that you are what you are based on your genitalia. Indeed. And if you are one of those individuals who doesn't have genitalia, then you are indeed whatever it is you choose to be. An unique or a freak of nature, but God bless you and your life. And I know they exist. And the reason why I know they exist is because of this story. I was working at a YMCA in the nursery. And I did that to get membership. And I was married at the time, but he had been married before me, and I was just an object. So he didn't really love me either. Another narcissist. And he was never happy. And as an empath, I can feel all that, those darts, all those angry darts. And because I hadn't healed yet, it was home, bittersweet home, because my mother would always send out little anger darts, anger. Like they would just throw their anger around irresponsibly. And we have an emotional body, you know. There is an auric field, you know. And so there is an energy and a frequency. I wonder if I'm going to get a copyright strike because this music. Okay, hold on. Let me turn it down. It is classical music on Black Friday. Hello, everybody, again. I'm experiencing some sniffles. You think I have a terrible, terrible disease? There's one thing I know I'm not going to have, and that's suddenly. Number one, I'm not an athlete professionally. And number two, nothing went into my arms. So, holidays are a time when people can fall apart. Just like my Bodum coffee grinder fell apart. It was just these two little pieces, a sticky thing that goes into the mechanism that starts it, and a spring. Because you know how they work. You just push down on this thing and it's supposed to make things happen. Well, mine's now ineffectual. Just like my exes. They're ineffectual sexually. All of them. And they get that way because they don't have a heart to genitalia connection. Now, speaking of genitalia, you are what you were born as. That's not hate speech. It's just the way it is. I don't recognize pronouns other than the ones that are y'all and you guys as gender neutral. And I'm putting this video out on YouTube to see whether or not it constitutes hate speech or whether or not people are over that. Because it's not hate speech. It's not hate speech at all. It's called reality. This is a reality show. Life is real. I'm a real person. My BODUM coffee maker is really broken. And this really is my last cup of coffee, other than what's left in my carafe, for a while now. But it happened on Black Friday, so I might have to go online, shopping at Walmart, you know? They have the best prices. And every now and then I have to shop at Walmart, because damn if I do Amazon. I'm not doing Amazon Prime. No. I support Walmart. Walmart at least has the decency of destroying mom and pop shops all over America. That's a joke. Walmart is where America shops. And when you go in there, you'd think you were in a third world country. Because America is all different people and races. That is for sure. But it's not where I like to go personally, so I'd rather shop online because I can. And also, it's Black Friday, and I'm not going to go anywhere near a mall unless I'm on foot. And I don't live near a mall, but I do have to go someplace, and I might have to walk to a mall to get a coffee grinder because I've decided I want to drink coffee again, you know? So here's to that. So I live solo. I live by myself, and I'm getting tired I'm kind of bored, but I don't want to take on anybody else's garbage either. And when you're in a relationship, you take the good with the bad, and hopefully there's more good than bad. There's no perfect person. God knows I'm not perfect, you know? And, I don't know if I could handle somebody 24/7 now because I put up with so much bullshit. You know, those anger darts I told you about? And, and the reason why I was talking about my first husband is because I married him because my mother didn't want to have a bastard, and she convinced me that I should marry him because he had health insurance. I mean, come on, man. You marry for love, not for convenience. But I ended up falling in love with him enough to have another child with him, but he couldn't stay happy. His ability to stay happy was slim to nil, and I was suffering because of it. And he criticized me all the time rather than telling me what a good job I was doing with raising the kids. He was an asshole rather than being delighted that I was thrifty and shopping at secondhand clothing stores and learning how to do without. He criticized me, and rather than moving to a town that was less expensive, it was $250 extra a month in rent, if not more. And we were house poor, because that asshole wanted to live in a more expensive neighborhood because he wanted to keep up with the fucking Joneses like a boomer, which he is. He was a boomer. And I have to get over my anger. It's like, the truth is, I listened to his whining and complaining, and then my mother said, marriage is a compromise, and that's all I did was compromise. I was compromising constantly. And I'm not married anymore. I was married twice, and the third time was with this guy that I thought I was in love with because he was so studly and he was a stud muffin, but I was making up fantasies in my head. It's the whole fucked up childhood I had. I didn't recognize the jerk in front of me because I kept fantasizing about what I wanted them to be. So now I'm going, okay, I have a life to lead, finally. And I'm old. So, older. And it's like, wow, okay. So don't give me a hard time for having wrinkles and not wearing any makeup and not combing my hair. Because I'm not young and dumb like I used to be. So I'm too stupid to know how to put my coffee maker back together again. It's like I don't understand it. I will do my best. I'll figure it out. I'll get one of my smart men friends, which brings me back to the conversation about how I knew that there are such things as dickless wonders. Yes. I was working in the nursery, like I said way back, and I changed this woman's baby's diaper, and she had explicitly told us not to change his diaper. She was going to do it. She did not want anybody changing his diaper. It was a direct order. Well, concurrently, we had women complaining that they would come and get their baby and the diapers weren't changed. So what we would always do is, they would bring the baby would be there for an hour and a half, and you didn't always check their diapers, but then our manager was, okay, look at the time and the clock that they checked in and the time they said they're going to come back and where they're going to be, because mothers always have to say where they're going to be in case there's an emergency, and there almost always was a child that cried and cried and cried and cried and cried, or a child that hurt it herself or himself. Itself? I don't think so. And so I changed this little boy's diaper, and he did not have a dick. It looked like a belly button. It was like that. It was just a hole. And you could see it was just a hole, like an innie belly button. That's why they exist. Now, unless you're a dickless wonder, you are a he or a she, and that's not hate speech. It's reality. So at the risk of going against community guidelines on YouTube, I will also post this on BitChute, where they're bitches, because they get to do thumbs down all they want, and they're complainers over there. And they always say things like, I was accused of being a man. I was accused by some retard on there. And it's really good to focus on the good and the true and the beautiful. And even age is beautiful. Even uncombed hair is beautiful. Even an unwashed face like I have is beautiful. Even my broken bodum is beautiful. So, how long did this thing last? A long time. Since 2009. So, it's 2022 now. And 2010, 12. That's 13 years, right? Yeah, 13 years. And the motor was still good. And now I get to see all the beautiful copper wiring, And you can see all the value in the wiring. Oh, look at that. That was hand assembled in China. And they knew how to put the little spring on. But now the whole thing feels sort of like wobbly. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm bored because I don't have anybody in my life occupying my time. So I do get kind of bored. I'm hot now after all that talking. So I get bored and I go looking for a YouTube video or anything that is in the least bit interesting. And I can't find them because things are either over edited or stupid. Or morose. Like, have you noticed how many of the YouTube suggestions want you to discover selfies that were dangerous, and so much so that the person's dead now, and it's never interesting? Like So I stopped clicking on it as clickbait. And then I found out about this solo free, equipment free guy that is dead, of course, because it's only a matter of time. But, you know, he would just go climb rocks when he was bored, but now he's dead. So I have to worry about whether or not I'll have money, because it costs, when you get old, you don't have money. Making abilities. So I have to come up with something, because I can't sell my body, nor do I want to. I can't be a stripper because I'm too old. And my breasts aren't big enough. And I just don't have the energy to kick up my legs and do back bends for dollar bills, you know? So it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? Be a granny nanny, babysit. I don't like waking up early, you know? What am I gonna do? So I go, okay, well, maybe I will write a book about my life so that younger people don't go down the same pitfalls I did, or they don't fall for the same bull crap. Like getting married so that your mother isn't frightened that you're going to have a bastard, in you getting married for the guy's health insurance. Health insurance? I gave birth naturally. I didn't even need those midwives. In fact, they were interfering. Next time around, girls, I'm going to learn how to actually like give birth without interference, like how to actually do it myself. So maybe I could do exercise videos with weights and show people how to keep their muscles strong. Would that be helpful? Teach people how to dance. Would that work? Would that you know, put some money in my piggy bank so that I don't have to worry about my life? Or do I just say, you know what? God provides to the faithful and to those who are grateful, who consider life a gift and the joy that it really is. Yeah, I think that's more like it. To cultivate gratitude and to really get to know who I am and practice self-acceptance, because last season I was still back and forth with my ex through text messaging, and I was not going to have anything to do with him during the holidays, I told him, because every holiday he made into a traumatic or dramatic, unnecessarily so, and quarrelsome and drunken, and just dangerous to be around an angry drunk who abuses you and doesn't remember it the next day, you know? So I told him I was going to stay clear of him in 2021, and I wouldn't see him until 2022 if we decided we were going to stay together. Well, narcissist that he is, he packed up all my stuff and brought it to me. And I was like, that's great, that's good, thank you. Just don't put it into the house, put it into the breezeway. Well, he text messages me, my key doesn't work. Of course it didn't. I changed the locks because I knew he was going to try to put stuff into the house. I mean, that guy showed up on Easter Day when I was away from him. The 3 hours I'm away from him, thank God. And he snuck in to my bedroom. And I was sitting at my my desk, my little vanity area, and I was giving myself a pedicure, you know? I was taking care of my nails. I was giving myself also mani-pedi. I was giving them to myself. because I'm resourceful. I know how to do that. I have all the tools and I have the wherewithal. I just can't figure out the bodum. How? How do I do this? How? It's a spring and a stick. Okay? Does anybody know how to do it? Like, I know it's supposed to go somewhere here. And then I got all these coffee grounds in it. So it's like, I think I might just admire its guts for a while. Admire the handiwork of the Chinese.